Okay, this is film class, week 7, part 6. I should say in my own case, this class, this course has a lot of movies that are about women, and it's one of the reasons why I swapped out Wizard of Oz for Virgin Suicides, because we should have at least one director who's a woman. If so many of the issues in this class are women, all of Unit 3, for example, is all about women. All the main characters of the movies in Unit 3 are women. So in my own case, it's like, wait, that's one of the reasons why this movie seems important, is if you're interested in women, you should care about the things they care about, and you should try to like see from their perspective, well, let's have at least one movie directed by a woman. I should put that in there. Okay, good. The characters, after Cece's death, characters have dreams of Cecilia. She haunts them. And her suicide will haunt until ultimately, like a ghost, it takes all 4 sisters. The commentary on these girls is like a Rorschach test. It's often just wrong. Actually, I guess Rorschach tests aren't wrong. That's a bad example. But the people are like, oh, those girls have a bright future. That girl who committed suicide was just a kook. But actually, none of those girls have a bright future. They're all going to die. And people passing by and making comments in the neighborhood don't really have any idea what's going on. Again, because these characters remain fundamentally mystery. These characters remain fundamentally mystery? Good job, Jeff. Let's try that again. The girls remain fundamentally mysterious. To the neighborhood, and also to their parents, right? I don't think the parents really understand the girls at all. They don't try to understand them. The mom has her burn her music. Like, maybe sit down and listen to music with your children. Maybe you could make a connection with them, but she won't do it. Cool. And the Cecilia's death haunts the people in their dreams. The father and the boys across the street both have dreams about Cecilia. But it also kind of haunts them as they return to school in the fall. One of the girls mentions a character who died in a book and isn't sure if that's okay to mention in front of the girl whose sister recently committed suicide. It's a neat example of how the girls who are already outsiders because of their Catholicism become even more outsiders because people aren't sure how to act around them. Many people are not. Death is one of those subjects that makes people real uncomfortable. And so the fact that these girls have experienced a suicide in their family makes a lot of people, they just don't know how to respond or talk to them. Okay, cool. This is going really well. There's an interesting bit in the film. Again, so Sofia Coppola is really good at these kinds of connections between things. One of the interesting details in the film is the sunglasses. The boy in the beginning of the film, Dominic, I think his name is, who jumps off the roof because he loves a tennis playing girl and he isn't injured at all, and the boys speculate that maybe his jumping off the 2nd story inspired Cecilia's suicide. They say he's the first boy in their neighborhood to wear sunglasses because he's cool. And then in Act 2, we meet Trip, played by Josh Hartnett. And Trip, also, his sunglasses are very, very prominent. One of the things about sunglasses is if someone's wearing sunglasses, you can't see their eyes. Mystery. Somebody in sunglasses is mysterious. It's cool. That's why sunglasses are cool, because they create a sense of mystery, because you can't see people's eyes, and so you don't know what they're like. It's mysterious. I'm not a very mysterious person, so I don't wear sunglasses very often. But I think it's a nice detail that the boy at the beginning of Act 1, Dominic, and the boy who dominates Acts 2 and 3, Trip, are both introduced with these very important, dramatic sunglasses. It's that kind of small connection that makes this movie more art. It's more like a poem, and I think it's beautiful. Okay, cool. I also love the detail, speaking of eyes, when Trip meets Kirsten Dunst for the first time, Lux, whose name, by the way, means light, which is it's just beautiful. But then she turns around and Sofia Coppola puts a little, there's like a post-it, how to put it? I forget what you call it now. I've lost the word. Anyway, there's a trick where they put a little gleam in her eyes after they film the scene, and then they put the little glint in her eyes. Post-production. It's a post-production effect, like computer effects, but they just put a little glint in her eyes when he meets her for the first time. Okay, cool. This is going really good. Trip, again, there's little details that make it interesting. Trip's dad appears to be gay. They're not super clear about that, but I think Trip's Trip's dads are, I think Trip has gay dads, which is adorable. But it's interesting that he's such a heartthrob for both mothers and children, but that his dads are gay, and they're really nice and supportive and kind, which I kind of love that, and they're trying to give him good advice, and it actually is now, as an older person now, I recognize the gay dads are actually doing a pretty good job with Trip. But it's just an interesting detail from his background. Again, the kind of metaphorical things that pop up in the movie. When Trip sits in the movie theater next to Lux and says he's going to ask her out, there's a movie about hurricanes colliding and the damage that they do when one weather system hits another weather system and creates a hurricane. And it's because it's like a metaphor in a poem. It's Trip and Lux are like two weather systems that are meeting and interact badly, and it will cause a hurricane and destruction and terribleness, and indeed it does. And then when Trip goes to her house to watch television, they're watching about cats attacking each other and preying on each other. But it's clear that the nature documentary about animals clearly mirrors the kind of animalistic passion that Lux and Trip have for each other. It's just these little simple things in the film that echo one another. The movie feels connected. The different parts of the movie feel very closely connected. A lot of my students will be like, oh, that's so random. Not random. It's actually interestingly very closely connected. And it's one of the things that makes the movie just sort of very, very beautiful. All right, cool. So the girls are outsiders in their community because they are Catholic. And because they're girls, people are just like, oh, these mysterious girls, these sisters. I think one of the other things that makes them mysterious is because there are so many sisters, and because they're all girls, they have each other. So there's not an outsider that they're friends with. You never see any of the girls have a friend. Their friends are their sisters, which is why they remain mysterious, because there's no outsider who can come in, find out what's going on, and report back, except for boys. And the boys who like the girls are often unreliable narrators because they like to tell stories about sex that aren't true because they're trying to seem cool in front of other boys. So yeah, the narrators are a similar level of outsiderness because they're the nerds, the nerdy kids. They're not popular like these beautiful girls. They're not popular like the jocks. Okay. Oh, another little tiny detail, but again, a mystery, in a way, is the detail that when they're all going to the homecoming dance together, Lux writes the word Trip on her underwear. And of course you write your name on your underwear when it belongs, so that you know which underwear belongs to you if it's going to get mixed up. But in this case, she's written Trip because it's like her underwear belongs to him. And it's a very, but also, and now he does actually sort of have sex with her, but like she doesn't know that at that point. So it may just be a little mystery that only she knows she's got his name written on her underwear. It's like a cute little mystery, and we're given access to it. The camera pans down and there's a little see-through section and we can see her underwear. It turns us into boys who are trying to catch a glimpse of girls' underwear. But it also, it lets us in on a little secret that the sisters probably don't know, and the mother doesn't know, and the boys don't know, although we never see if Trip notices that. Yeah, there's just lots of little, like even just a little joke about don't let it die a virgin, they say about the cigarette, because they don't want the cigarette to go out before they've had a chance to smoke it. But again, it's just a little thing that echoes the fact that this movie's the virgin suicides, and most of these girls will die virgins. Cool. The music at the prom is beautiful, and I'd like to say a little bit about that. And this is an idea for your papers, for a paragraph you can write about. Music in movies is sometimes very well chosen. Quentin Tarantino and Sofia Coppola and Wes Anderson are extraordinarily good at picking music. David Lynch also, extraordinarily good at picking music. Meaning they pick songs that are cool, but they also pick songs that, if you read the lyrics, are very closely thematically related to what they are doing. So one thing you can do is, sometimes I'll tell students write a paragraph on music, and they'll be like, oh, this is scary music for the scary part, romantic music for the romantic part. Google search the lyrics, and then see if what the song is about connects to what's going on in the film. And sometimes it's really obvious. I'll pick this up in the next video.